What's going on, guys? It's Unknown Player here, and welcome back to yet another Advanced Warfare multiplayer gameplay. Today we are on Capture the Flag on the map Ascend, and we are taking a look at how this game mode plays. And this is a very intense game mode. It goes into overtime, and you'll see how overtime works. I've actually done a little bit of a tweak to how overtime works in Capture the Flag, and you might notice it. And essentially, obviously you'll see it later on in this gameplay. Stick around if you want to see it. But essentially what happens in overtime normally would be that you'd play 2 rounds of Capture the Flag. Obviously whoever's the most flags would win, and if you're both tied, then you go into overtime where all you need is 1 flag capture to be able to win. Now in overtime you need there's 2 separate rounds in overtime itself, so you can win the first round of overtime and then you need another round to be able to win the game fully. So they've got obviously both sides. I think that's mainly done for esports and competitive play, because obviously it's unfair if one team gets the spawn if it's overtime and it's down to this 1 game to win. I think it's obviously unfair if one team happens to get what might be considered a beneficial spawn. If one side of the map is considered easier to cap or harder, then it's obviously unfair in that aspect. So I think they've done that for an esports reason, to be able to make it a little bit more balanced, because we don't Capture the Flag has massively come back because a lot of the esports guys love this as a competitive game mode to play along with domination and search and destroy, and possibly uplink as a new game that could be coming. But enjoy that gameplay in the background. I'm using what is one of my favorite class setups in the game to use, definitely one of my favorite assault rifles. A lot of you guys have been tweeting me asking what my favorite weapons and class setups are. This is definitely one of my favorites, the HBRa3. I've already used it a few times in a few of my videos, and it's obviously suppressed, and it's got a low profile on to stay off the radar. And one of my favorite things is the blast suppressor. And one thing that a lot of people don't realize about Advanced Warfare, and that might shock a lot of people, is that when you actually do boost jumps and your exosuit movements, you actually show up on the radar. You don't show up as a dot, but if you look on the radar, you might notice there'll be a few kind of pings, and there'll be kind of like the circular, like radius blast, like a portable radar almost. And you notice those kind of red objects on the minimap. Those are actually people who are boost jumping and boost dashing and sliding and all that stuff. If you're doing anything that involves you boosting with your exosuit, obviously normal things like sprinting and jumping and sliding and all that stuff won't be effective. If you're boost doing any of that stuff, and then you're going to be showing up on the minimap, and the blast suppressor actually minimizes that. So blast suppressor is definitely a very handy perk, because I can imagine when this game launches, absolutely everyone is going to be boosting around, because obviously boost jumping is very fun. You can do it a lot, and something you naturally want to do to get around the map. A lot of people are going to be testing out this new mechanic, and jumping around and boost doing everything pretty much, and they're not going to be realizing they're actually showing up on the minimap, because they don't actually tell you that often apart from in the description of the blast suppressor perk. So that is definitely a good tip for day one. Make sure you're watching where you're boost jumping, because you are going to be showing up on the radar, and everyone is going to know pretty much where you are just based on your movements and how you're navigating the map. And another perk that is also very similarly interesting is the perk called Peripherals, which I've talked about in my recovery video. And this is the one that extends the minimap and zooms it out a lot more so you can see what's going on, and also shows you no death markers when you kill an enemy. So when you kill an enemy, obviously it shows up a death marker to their teammates. They can know that their friend has just died around the area, so there's probably an enemy around there. And with this perk Peripherals, obviously you won't show that up, so you can be a little bit more stealthy, and it definitely does complement a stealthy orientated class. And I don't think I'm using the perk Peripherals right here. You can see my minimap is the normal square shape, and it would be the rectangular shape that we saw in Ghost if it was Peripherals, and also be a lot more zoomed out. So it's very good for spatial awareness and seeing what's going on. And another perk that's very interesting is the perk Toughness. Now you guys know Toughness has returned in Advanced Warfare. It is a perk, and I was using it in this gameplay. I don't think I ever played a game without Toughness. It's pretty much one of the staple perks I always have to use, whether it's Toughness or Stability in Modern Warfare 3, or Toughness in Black Ops 2, and Focus in Call of Duty Ghosts. It's always a perk or proficiency or attachment or whatever it might be that I always have to gravitate towards, because the flinch when you're getting shot is just too much to handle, and you can definitely win a lot of gunfights if you're not being flinched. But Michael Condry did say on Twitter that they have massively nerfed the perk Toughness, so it's not as dependent as it used to be. And because we do know that perks that are pretty much staple perks like Dead Silence or like Stopping Power used to be in the game are very bad for balance. Like they pretty much block off entire tiers for you to use. So for example, for me, I pretty much can't use anything else in the tier 3 perk, because I just have to use Toughness. It might just even be a placebo effect. Maybe I just think I'll do better with Toughness, but it's a perk that I pretty much have to use. I'm not really going to experiment with any other perk that's in the game, because I don't really want to risk it. And it's just like Stopping Power used used to be, and currently how they're working with Dead Silence. Of course, you might know that Dead Silence isn't in the game at this current point, but they're thinking of a way of how to reduce it. They might just turn the footstep sounds completely off in esports as a way to kind of balance it, but hopefully Toughness won't be as much of a powerful perk as it has been in previous games, and definitely on day one of this game's launch I'll be able to test for you guys and see the difference between with using Toughness and without using, to see if it's actually a perk that you need to use, and hopefully we can use some other perks and experiment a little bit more in the tiers and not have to kind of like be confined to using Toughness and some of these perks that are very, very essential. But this has been a little bit of a look at CTF on the map Ascend, and a little bit of talk about some of the perks in Advanced Warfare. Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and any perks that you're interested in kind of stick out to you. And but hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later.